down the basement, lock the cellar door, and baby, talk bloody to me.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Talk Bloody to Me. I'm Matt,
And I'm Brezzy.
and this week we have a very special fan request episode, our first ever fan request episode. What movie are we talking about today?
We are talking about killer clowns from outer space.
Yes, from 1988. And
Hmm
I'd never seen it before, actually, I have to admit. I've heard of it before. Have you seen it before, Breezy?
I have seen it one time, but that was like long time ago. So it was pretty much like a recap.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was like these creepy clowns dancing around and, killing people. And I know it was like a comedy type deal. And I knew it
Yeah.
was cheesy, but I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how cheesy it was. But it's a fun movie.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of the big circus elephant in the room is that it's rated PG-13. So if you're looking for Art the Clown to show up and do his thing, these aren't that quite of extreme of clown. These are more silly. I think the extent of the gore is a little bit of blood. Like they get encased in cotton candy, and when they peel it off, there's a little bloody face or something like that.
I love that one. I love that scene.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's the premise is these clowns come to Earth from outer space and they look kind of like, do you remember the show Dinosaurs? Where it was like the
Yeah, I
people in
love
the
that
rubber
show.
Yeah, that's what it
Love that
reminds
show.
me of, is like the
Yeah.
dinosaurs. Yeah. See, I'm glad you love that show. I do too. See? So
God, I love that show. But yeah, now you talked about it or mentioned it. Yeah, I can see the resemblance.
hmm And actually apparently they reused the a little fun fact is they reused the clown suits, the costumes in the movie Ernest Scared Stupid as trolls, but they like repainted them so they didn't look as clownish. But
Huh.
yeah, so they're alien clowns that just happen to look like what we think of as clowns, but they're monsters. They got big teeth and they have weird guns that encase people in cotton candy. Um, I was thinking like in my head, I was like trying to explain away this movie, like, but if you're trying to explain it, it's killer clowns from outer space, so it's not going to make a whole lot of sense, but it's a goofy fun ride.
It is. I wonder how, like, the makeup wise and the costume, I wonder if they can actually breathe in that because that has to be heavy
Oh yeah,
at some
definitely.
point.
Yeah, and hot too. Hot and sweaty, I
Right.
bet. Yeah. Yeah. And then I was
Gee.
thinking, I was like, maybe like I was doing this whole science fiction thing, like maybe the reason we think of clowns is because these aliens came to Earth like hundreds of years ago, and that's what made our impression of clowns. And then the guy actually says that in the movie at some point, and I was like, holy shit, wow, that's like that's actually part of the movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So what are some of the highlights of this movie for you, Breezy?
Um, the most highlight is probably that cotton candy. I mean, who doesn't like cotton candy? I
Yes,
mean, I want to
exactly.
be caked in it.
Yeah. And so the clowns are here, like they're basically picking up humans to eat. And how they do it is they wrap them up in cotton candy and then they like sort of melt away into goop. And then he's got a great big long crazy straw that he sticks in there and slurps it up.
Yeah, it's he sticks the straw in the
Yeah.
cotton candy, like like serves like I think he pokes the human in there or the dead body and then sucks the blood out.
Yeah.
That's
That's actually one of the more gory parts of the movie, to be honest.
right. Yeah,
If you think
compared.
about it, like it's probably just like cherry Kool-Aid, but if you think about it, it makes it
Yeah.
gory. But so this movie has the chief of police, or I think he's the chief. It's one of the police officers, is the same guy as the dean from Animal House, and he's basically playing the exact same character. And now I want to look it up. But that was incredible to me. That sort of blew my mind.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah. Do, 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 do. So what they shoot
Uh,
pop.
my my highlight I got that I found out under my notes that I took while watching the movie, and I was
Mm-hmm.
doing some research too on it. And
Mm-hmm.
like the visual, like the clowns and the visual effects were created almost entirely by filmmakers
Oh wow.
at a very little cost.
Oh neat. I
So
thought
it's
they'd be
like,
really expensive with how crazy they looked.
right.
Yeah. So
So
it's
kudos
his
to them.
yeah, exactly. His name's John Vernon. He plays the dean in Animal House, and he plays kind of the same character in this as he's just a loud, belligerent moron. And like he doesn't want to admit that there's clowns, and he says, "No one will make a dummy out of me." And then that's foreshadowing because later on they make a dummy out of him.
At
Literally.
the at the end, like where that big, huge clown came
Hmm.
up at the very end of the movie,
Hmm.
it kind of reminds me of Donkey Kong in a way.
It does. Or like Bowser from I almost said Bowser
Oh,
from Super
Bowser?
Mario
Yeah,
Brothers because he kind of had like that turtle shell looking thing on the back.
yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the I guess that was directed by three brothers, and that was one of the brothers in a suit was that giant clown at the end.
Jeez.
Yeah,
What do
another
you,
probably
so,
300-degree suit.
right. No, what do you think about the scene where uh the clown was like at somewhere at this alleyway and he was like doing all this like, hand things on the shadows and stuff. What
Oh
do you think
yeah.
about that one?
That's kind of crazy because like he's doing different shadow puppets, except they're like extremely elaborate. It's like George Washington rowing his boat and stuff like that. And it's kind of like animated with like a black shadow cartoon. And it's these people at the bus stop and they're all oohing and on, like, oh wow, oh, and they're like, that's amazing. And then he makes like a Tyrannosaurus. And it like basically sucks them all up and eats them and they're gone. And the people watching it scream in terror. And I'm like, I would scream too, I guess, but it's not like bloody and gory, but still it would be weird as hell if you actually saw that in real life.
Dude, if you're like, I want to say if you're like high as fuck and seeing that, that would be
Right.
trippy. It'd be
Exactly.
so trippy.
Exactly. Like like I don't know if I'd scream like but they scream like it was like, "Oh my God." Oh, and it's like to me I'd be more like, "What the fuck just happened?" Pardon my French,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'll be like, what the fuck did I just see? And did that did really happen? Or
yeah, the mushrooms are kicking in again.
yeah.
Um there when they put like little popcorn in like when they first the spaceship is like a circus tent and some old guy goes out there and he's like, oh, the circus is in town, woo, looky, and then he touches the like wire and it like electrocutes him.
Yep.
And then the main character, which is Chris Titus, which I thought he was kind of a dope, but he used to have a show on Fox. He usually has blonde hair, and he had a comedy show on Fox for a while called Titus. But I actually kind of like that show. But he had short blonde hair in that, and in this he has longer dark hair. But anyway, that's he's kind of the main dude, and then he has two friends that drive an ice cream truck. And man, after seeing them, I owe an apology to the miners from Valentine Bluffs in My
Yeah.
Bloody Valentine because they look like geniuses compared to these two guys in the
Right.
ice cream truck.
Right.
But they
They're
provide some
just kind of
good
goofing
comic
off.
relief. Yeah. What'd you
And they
say? They're
didn't
kind of
really care
what?
if they want to get killed or not. They're like, okay.
They're like willing to have sex with weird mutant alien clown women because they show them like
Yeah,
in a ball pit. That
yeah, I just okay, if that fits your tote, then fine. And
so. Oh, go ahead.
another thing that I wrote down on, so when I was reading about it again, under like crazy credits or something like that, I guess the film was released in 1988, but
Hmm.
it didn't, the ending of the credits didn't get claim of copyright up until 1987.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
That's
So I was like,
interesting.
that's an interesting fact.
Yep. Um, and the clown, another thing that I thought was funny is the clown shoots popcorn out of a bazooka, like a popcorn gun, and then when they're telling the cop, he goes flying popcorn, like that was the most amazing thing that popcorn could fly. And he's like, well, no, he said he shot it. It's like popcorn's pretty light. You shoot it, it's
Oh
gonna
yeah, it's like
fly.
a baby. Yeah, it's like acting like a BB gun. But that is so cool. I wish I had a bazooka that shoots popcorn.
Yeah, that would be fun. I guess you can get a prop replica one. I've been seeing a lot
Yeah.
of ads for stuff coming out lately. I don't know, for whatever reason. I saw there's a board game and there's some like toys and dolls and there's a prop replica of the popcorn gun. You can order it on.
I could so see you using that.
Yes, exactly. I'll bring it to Crypticon and shoot people with popcorn.
Yeah, speaking of Krypton, I could have sworn there was like three clowns from Killer Out of Space. I'm pretty sure there was three of them there.
I think there was actually. I remember that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if it was from that movie or what, but it kind of reminds me of like I could have sworn there was like three clowns there.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was. Yeah, and I don't know if I knew what they were from, but now I do.
Yeah, I don't know if they were playing that, but that's what it's similar.
Hmm. Oh, and then when the guy's girlfriend, she goes home and takes a shower, and the popcorn goes in her hamper, and then when she comes out later, it's like clown larva, like it's like clown heads on snake bodies or something, come out of the hamper and try biting at her. It's like, you got to give these
Well,
guys credit for creativity, if nothing else.
especially the woman was like I think in the bathroom kitchen I think, and then like there was like little popcorn kernels on the floor, and they're like slowly like moving. It was like holy
Hmm.
crap! I wonder how they do that? Like a little
That
fan or
that was actually one of the cooler effects of the movie, honestly, because it kind of like inchworms its way along, and it's a little popcorn kernel, but it sort of crunches up and then stretches out and crunches up and stretches out. And that was actually a
yeah.
really cool effect. It's like, how are they doing that?
Yeah, that's what I'm really curious. I'm like, how I'm really want to know how they do that.
Hmm. Um, they throw a bunch of pies on a guy, and it like dissolves him into a big pile of goop, and then they
Yep.
put a cherry on top. Um, oh, and their weakness, the younger cop, the one that's like a good guy, discovers their weakness is if you shoot them in the nose or just pop their nose, then they spin around and explode. And so that's how they end up saving the day, is they go on board the spaceship and pop the giant Godzilla Bowser
Yeah.
clown's nose. And then the
It's a
ship
good
blows
one.
up and they get covered in pies. Does that mean? And then the movie ends like they're like, "Yay, we did it!" And then a bunch of pies follow the sky and land on them. And then it like freeze frames and cuts to credits, and it's like "Killer clowns." Dur, 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 dur." But earlier in the movie, they showed those pies dissolving people. So does that mean they all were killed horribly right after the credits started? Like those pies dissolve? That's
Yeah,
something to think
that
about.
yeah, that's one thing that really confuses me. Like there's a pie part on the beginning and then
Hmm.
a pie at the end.
Yeah, it's weird. It's Killer
Yeah,
Clowns. It doesn't make
yeah,
it. You can't ask for a whole lot of logic.
right. No, it's
Oh,
a fun one.
there's a clown that's like they're like driving down the road, and the clown's like it's like he's pretending to drive, but yet he's still like scooting along, and it's really weird looking. That
Oh,
effect wasn't as good as the popcorn.
do you like that dog balloon?
Oh, that actually freaked me out. That like tripped me out. I was like, yeah, I was like, what? Just the way it moved was weird. I didn't like it. It's a
Come on,
balloon.
man. Oh, come on. That's funny. I thought
Yeah,
it was cute.
it is. It's a balloon animal dog that's like alive and moving around, and it's like some kind of weird special
Yeah, and it
effects.
barks.
It
Yeah, and it
barks and it like
barks.
sniffs, and they use it like a bloodhound to track people down.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cute.
It is kind of cute, actually. Um, so yeah, and that's kind of it. It's just kind of a wild, crazy adventure. Goofy, funny. It's times. it's really stupid. I mean, you know going in that it's Killer Clowns from Outer Space,
Mhm.
that if the title alone doesn't scare you away, you kind of know what you're in for. But man, there's some parts where I just was like, oh, this movie for real, seriously. But then other parts are actually like, okay, that was good. I like that.
Yeah, it goes back and forth, but it's a good one, you know.
It's
Like
worth
a horror
watch.
comedy.
It's worth watching just to see the clown like costumes, like their effects and their faces and stuff.
Yeah, I more so like the clowns and their makeup and stuff, and how funny they are too.
Yeah. And oh, when the guy from Animal House, he says, "No one will make a dummy out of me." And then later on they come in to the police station and he's sitting on the clown's lap and the clown's got his hand in the back and he's doing like a ventriloquist act with him. And then he
Mhm.
pulls his hand out and it makes like a suction noise and his hand's all bloody. And that's one of the more gory parts of the movie too, actually. This is
Well, back in the day, yeah, that part will be gory, yes.
Yep. So would you recommend people watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Well, some of my friends don't like clowns, so I want to recommend it to them. But if you're a clown lover, go for it. If you're not into clowns, don't watch it.
Yep, exactly. Um, and so we've been talking a lot of different trivia facts throughout the movie. And so we're gonna ask a fan question since this was a fan request episode, and you can answer in the comments on whatever platform you're listening on. But so there's a part in this movie where a clown rides up on a little tiny bike and he rides up to like a biker gang and they're all tough and the biggest one of them goes over and he's like, "Oh, can I ride your bike?" And the clown says no, and so he picks up the bike and smashes it. And then the clown comes out with boxing gloves. And he's like, "Oh, are you gonna knock my block off?" And the
Yeah,
clown winds up and boom, knocks his head right off. Does it land in the dumpster? Am I remembering that right?
I believe so, yes.
I think it does. And then everyone screams and runs away. So the trivia question is there is another horror movie with a scene famously where the killer punches someone's head off. And so if you can identify who it was and what movie it was, and then bonus points if you know which movie came first, that one or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And what do you win? Absolutely nothing, but we'll give you a shout out and we'll we'll chat with you on the platform and we can get some conversation going maybe.
Yep.
Right?
Once we
Uh,
get that going, we would do like prizes and stuff. But we're just
yeah,
doing a test drive and see what how this is gonna go. But this is fun.
yeah. Eventually maybe we'll get some cool stuff that oh I was talking before about the prop replica gun. Give a shout out, there's a website called Big Bad Toy Store and they have a lot of horror collectibles, all the different action figures and statues and mask replicas and props. So give that a shout out and check it out. Maybe someday they'll sponsor us and we'll get some prizes to give away. We'll see.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. All right. So, any last thoughts about the Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
No, not really. I mean, overall, it's good.
Yep.
Like,
Entertaining, worth watching. Not Art the Clown. Art the Clown, I think, would have a field day with these clowns. I think
right.
he would do things to them that would make them wish they were never born.
Gosh, I wish I can see that.
The crossover of the century.
Yeah.
Terrifier versus Killer Clowns.
Yeah.
Get Hollywood on the phone. We we got
Yeah.
we got Goldmine here.
Right.
All right. Thank you everyone for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, comment,
And
tell.
also,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, and also thank you, fan for a fan request for recommending us this awesome movie.
Exactly. And we'll be back next time with something else exciting. So stay
Yep.
tuned.